All right, everyone. So we have another video here from Six that we are going to watch and react to. Now, this one was requested of me to react to here on this channel. It's called You Read Naruto Wrong. Now, I'm going to be really interested to watch this video because, excuse me, I'm always curious to see, videos from people who, talk about how they believe that people may have misinterpreted the material that whatever it is that they're talking about, whether it's a movie or in this case a manga or a book or a video game, especially a video game that's driven by its story. I'm always curious to see how people you know share their thoughts about how they believe that people may have misinterpreted what the intent of the original author is, in this case of the Naruto manga. That would be Masashi Kishimoto. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this video. And before we do, guys, as always, I do have to say this. If you want to check out the original video, which I do recommend you do, I will leave a link to it in the description. I'll also leave a link to Six's channel, so you can head on over there and if you can subscribe to him, watch his videos there, like his videos, share them, comment on them. All those things go a long way in helping videos be pushed in the algorithm. And maybe you could consider doing the same thing for this video. Leave a like, share the video, subscribe if you're new. Make sure you're still subscribed, because I think I keep hearing that YouTube does unsubscribe people without their notice. So make sure you're still subscribed if you did indeed subscribe to this channel, which if you did, I really do thank you for supporting me here on this channel. Now, with all that said and out of the way, let's go ahead and watch this video, and we'll see what he says right here.
This video has been a long time coming. I've wanted to cover the different misconceptions in Naruto pretty much since the start of my channel, and I just never got around to it for one or another reasons. So today I'm doing just that. Before I get directly started with it though, I'd like to ask everyone to of course be patient. I'm only human, and obviously I can't cover every single misconception that there is throughout the manga. That would require me to not only reread all 700 chapters, but probably reread them multiple times just to make sure I didn't miss anything. I can assure you though that most of the gigantic misconceptions will be covered in this video, and covered at length to make sure that everyone understands why it was a misconception to begin with. Before we begin, I'd like to ask if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I have tons of other videos like this just on my channel that you can watch after this one if you want to. We also have a word from our sponsor this video, and that sponsor is me. I started a new Discord server. I'll be in there a lot, so join, ask me a question, say hi. Okay, on to the video. The first big and pretty common misconception that I want to go over is that the Chidori and Raikiri are just the same jutsu with a different name. This couldn't be further from the truth. One of the simplest ways to differentiate the jutsu are just between their jutsu rank. The Chidori is an A rank ninjutsu, whereas the Raikiri is an S rank ninjutsu. If you know anything about jutsu rankings, then you would know that a higher jutsu ranking means that the ability is more difficult to master. There's also a difference in the hand signs used for the jutsu, not just in the amount of hand signs, but the different hand signs as well. The Chidori requires 4 hand signs, whereas the Raikiri only requires 2. Kakashi seems to omit these hand signs at some points in time, or maybe he just does them off screen or so fast we can't see, but we do know that sometimes he just goes out of his way to not do the hand signs. The Raikiri also doesn't have the chirping sound effect that the Chidori creates. I can't say I blame people for having this misconception though, considering Guy has the same misconception in the series, thinking that the Chidori is also known as Lightning Blade. Sasuke even reassures us in the Deidara fight that these are not the same jutsu. After Deidara keeps mistaking his Chidori for Lightning Blade, he says that his is called Chidori. The method for obtaining Lightning Blade is relatively unknown. If it is the fact that you have to touch a lightning bolt with your Chidori and then it evolves into a lightning blade, we don't really know. We just know that Kakashi at one point in time did do that, and now he has the lightning blade. The next misconception is that people say Kakashi says that the Byakugan completely surpasses the Sharingan, but this isn't what he really says at all. No. He says the Byakugan surpasses the Sharingan in its penetrating perceptive ability.
Mm-hmm.
This is very clearly meant to be in reference to the fact that the Byakugan can not only see through solid objects in up to 700 kilometers in some instances, but the fact that the Byakugan can see directly through you and see chakra to a higher and more detailed degree than the Sharingan. If you think about the fact that Kakashi was able to offset the tunnel vision nerf from Chidori with his Sharingan, and that the Byakugan has a 360-degree field of vision, what
Yeah.
Kakashi says.
Yeah. See, excuse me again. Sorry, guys. But he even says right here, in its penetrative perceptive ability, the Byakugan surpasses the Sharingan completely. Yeah, because the Byakugan can let you see more than the Sharingan does. Now, that doesn't mean that the Byakugan is stronger than the Sharingan. In fact, I think far from it. I mean, I think we've seen throughout the series that the Sharingan can allow you to do so much more than the Byakugan. You know, not just be able to, give you an insane amount of perception, being able to see your opponents move right before they actually do it, but it also allows you to see and copy techniques. It allows you to cast genjutsu, and then of course there's the evolution of the Sharingan. You've got the Mangekyo, which gives you access to unique abilities, such as, I mean, depending on who you are, but you've got abilities like, the Amaterasu, you've got Tsukuyomi, you have Kodomatsukami, you have Kamui, you have what apparently I'm guessing is Madara's ability, which allows you to like rewind time by like a few seconds, which is honestly kind of crazy when you think about it. And still wondering why Kishimoto never had that in the actual series, but that's whatever. Um, anyway, and then of course you've got the evolution beyond that, which is the Rinnegan, which gives you access to all sort of broken abilities, which is kind of crazy. And with the Byakugan, you do have the Tenseigan, but in all honesty, I mean, you like when it comes to the Tenseigan, like the abilities that you get are not really all that different from the Rinnegan. But even then, it's like when it comes to the Tenseigan, like you can't really awaken it unless you're a member of the Otsutsuki clan. So no Hyuga clan can actually awaken that ability. Whereas, uh, you know, Uchiha clan members, while uh, you know, forget the anime for a second. While only a few people have actually are, well, only a few people in the clan are even capable of awakening the Mangekyo Sharingan. It is still something that they're capable of doing without needing, like alien blood in them or whatever. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to say that, but let's continue with the video.
It starts to make a little bit more sense. There is also a misconception that Madara using Kamui in the later half of the war arc is a plot hole. This is just simply not true. The
Well,
misconception comes from the fact that people don't remember what Obito actually said when he mentioned that he can't use Kamui. He says that with the 10 tails inside of him, he can't pass through things, which is not what Madara did with Kamui. He was using Kakashi's eye and just used a portal to teleport himself into the other dimension. This next one I didn't.
he says, and the 10 tails inside me, I can't pass through things either. Well, actually, okay, no, hold on. Let's go back. Say, I want to take a look at the full panel. Oh, what the hell? I didn't even.
Madara did with Kamui.
Yeah, okay, so he just says, what a bother. But yeah, I mean, he says, yeah, because it's weak to Sei's Jutsu, and because he has the 10 tails, he can't pass through things. Which, yeah, I mean, that requires Kamui for you to do because, again, I feel like a lot of people forget how Kamui actually works. Like with Kamui, yes, it allows you to pass through things because basically what happens is whatever part of your body comes in contact with something else, that part of your body gets sent to Kamui. So you're still using Kamui to send things to the Kamui dimension. You're just using it on yourself. And instead of doing what Madara did here, where you send your whole body to the Kamui dimension, it instead is just isolated to specific parts of your body. That's what the ability actually is. And Obito still says right here, because see, this is why people believe this, and I do believe they're correct, which is, that Obito can't use Kamui when he has the 10 tails because again, you're using Kamui to send, you know, parts of your body to the Kamui dimension. And yet here we have Madara doing that, even though Obito said he can't do that, and even though it's Obito's ability, and yet here is Madara using it like it's nothing. And keep in mind, like, why do I say that? It's because we do know, it's established that in this universe, when you're using someone else's dojutsu, you don't use it as well as the person that originally awakened it. That's why we saw Obito using Kamui a lot better than Kakashi ever did when when he regained both of his eyes. Like, he was able to do things that I don't think Kakashi would have been able to do, because again, it wasn't his. And also, there's another plot hole here that I don't know if he's gonna bring it up, but again, maybe he will, like when we let the video play. But this, what he did right here, this is a plot hole, because with he used Kakashi's eye to send himself to the Kamui dimension. Here's the thing: the way Obito's Kamui works is that his right eye, Obito always had. I almost said Kabuto for a second. I don't know why, but the one that Obito had, the one that he didn't give to Kakashi, that's the one that allows the user to send himself to the Kamui dimension. Kakashi couldn't do that because he had the eye that didn't allow you to do that. Obito's right eye can send things to the Kamui dimension in close range and himself, and his left eye is what allows him to use Kamui to send things from a far distance into the Kamui dimension. You see what I mean? So this itself is a plot hole. Like, Madara should not have been able to use this eye to send himself to the Kamui dimension. That's not how this works. That's the plot hole right here. So this should not have happened. And also, there was actually another plot hole earlier when it was after the Obito and Kakashi fight in the Kamui dimension, when Obito left and Kakashi was there, you know, like he was patching up his wound from, you know, his fight with Obito. And then later when Obito loses, Kakashi uses Kamui to send himself out of the Kamui dimension. But again, that's not how that works. Like, that shouldn't have been possible, because again, like, only the one that Obito has can send yourself in and out of the Kamui dimension. That's not how that works. But yeah, so anyway, moving forward.
Said when he mentioned that he can't use Kamui. He says that with the 10 tails inside of him, he can't pass through things, which is not what Madara did with Kamui. He was using Kakashi's eye and just used a portal to teleport himself into the other dimension. This next one I didn't know until I did more research for this video, but Sasuke did not train for a month in between the preliminaries and finals for the Chunin exams. This mainly comes from Guy and Lee both thinking that Sasuke trained the entire time and saying that it took him just a month to get up to Lee's level of speed. But on chapter 93, we see that it says 15 days since the start of training, and it's talking about Naruto's training when it says that. But on the next page, we see Kakashi doing the rock climbing exercise for the first time, going to the spot where he told Sasuke to meet him so that they can train. A little bit later than that, as Sakura and Ino go try to check on Sasuke in his hospital room, the nurse tells them that Sasuke has been missing from the room since last night, so we do know he was in the hospital for these 15 days. This leads us to the conclusion that Sasuke was training for around 2 weeks before he caught up to Lee's speed, making him just even more of a prodigy. There is this weird misconception that Madara can react to teleportation due to his feats of reacting to both Minato and Tobirama, but this is just a simple misinterpretation. In both examples, what Madara is doing is dodging the attacks that follow after the flying Raijin is already completed. In other words, they teleport and then lunge at their opponent. I also want to mention Sasuke should be able to use every single path of the Rinnegan. It is stated after all that the Rinnegan just gives you access to all of these paths, and while Sasuke has only shown 3 of the 6, Obito, who also just has 1 Rinnegan, is also stated to be able to use all 6 of the paths. He just doesn't use them because Kakashi, Guy, and Naruto know how to counter them all. Another misconception is that Naruto as an adult doesn't have 6-path Sage Mode. I'll show a couple panels on screen while talking about this, but for the most part I want to just breeze past this one since I kinda already explained it more in depth in my when Naruto became immune to ninjutsu video. KCM2 plus Sage Mode does give Naruto crosses in his eyes, but it also gives him pigmentation over
Hmm.
his eyelid, just
I
like
still don't understand
eyeshadow.
why people
This
had a
eyeshadow or
misconception about that.
pigmentation is not there whenever he's in 6-pass Sage Mode. So as you can see, when he's an adult and does not have this pigmentation, he still has 6-pass Sage Mode. Another huge misconception is that Obito started the entire 4th grade ninja war just over Rin. Rin
No,
was the
that
reason
is
Obito joined the dark side. The deeper and deeper he went into the dark side was because of what he saw walking throughout the
yeah,
world. He
okay,
said,
okay. See, here's the thing. Like, he literally says, if you think I started this war over just you and Rin, to say that you're misdirected would be an understatement. Like, he literally says, he might as well have said this to the audience. And look, the way he's drawn, it's like he's actually looking at us. Almost like Kishimoto kind of knew that a lot of people were saying that, oh, so he started a war because of Rin. And then he said, like, no, okay, I'm going to have Obito literally say, while drawing the panel in a way that makes it look like he's looking at us directly, the readers, and basically outright telling us that, no, I did not start this war because of Rin. Like, I still don't understand why people have this misconception. But anyway, or you know what? Here's the thing: like, they never should have even had it in the first place. It's like, no, he didn't start a war because, oh god. I mean, I understand that some people may say it just as a joke because they understand that it's a meme, so they kind of, like, troll people on the internet. I mean, if that's the case, all right, I can understand it because at least you're trolling and that you're not taking it seriously. But there are people who actually believe this, that he started a war because, um, like, because he lost Rin. It's like, no, that's not the case. And look, he even says right here, after I lost Rin, the world as I saw it changed. It became a black hole. This world holds no hope. I took Madara's identity, walked the world, but all that did was confirm it further. Even possessing the Sharingan didn't reveal anything to me because there was nothing to see. Um, Basically saying that losing Rin was just the starting point of him, like, starting to see the world and believing that, okay, there's nothing to this world. Like, it's a hell where people have dreams but they never accomplish their dreams because this world just takes it away from them. It's a world where people die before they can accomplish anything. um so he thought that, okay, well, then what's the point? Why the hell do we still keep fighting for this world? A world that just seems to do nothing but punish people over and over and over again. And the people themselves seem like they don't have any interest in moving past this. So again, what's the point? Like, he basically became a nihilist as he started getting, as he grew older and as he started to experience the world over and over again, which is something that does happen to a lot of people in real life. It's something that happens to a lot of us. The innocence, the naivety that we all had when we were kids starts to slowly go away the more we get older and the more we start to learn about how this world actually works and how, like, how unfair it can be. I mean, it's something that does happen, which is why I think that Obito is actually, like, I think, in my opinion, is probably one of the most underwritten, or not underwritten, underrated, excuse me, underrated characters, because a lot of people, I think, miss that when it comes to what Kishimoto was kind of doing with Obito, and not just Obito, but basically a lot of the antagonists in the Naruto story. Like, a lot of them just get completely desensitized to this world and they give up, which is kind of one of the reasons why Naruto's like a perfect foil for them, and why his whole motto is I don't give up. And he sort of, like, reminds them of who they were before they got changed into who they are now because of this world that they live in, and why Naruto wants to change the world ultimately, because he, I think, at the end understood that it's this world that made these people who they are now, and it even made Sasuke into who he is now, with when he was facing him at the end, at the the final valley. And he was he was determined to change the world because he didn't want, you know, what happened to Obito, or what happened to Itachi, or what happened to Pain, or even what happened to Madara to happen to anyone else. That's why he's so desperate to change the world, but not in the way that it feels like they're taking a shortcut, like what Madara and Obito wanted to do, where it's a fake world, it's not real.
says this much himself. In the end, all it means is that Obito started the fourth war just because he's an evil bastard. These next two are kind of
I
funny,
wouldn't say
but some
he's like an
people
evil
genuinely
bastard.
think that Rock Lee has no chakra. Just letting it be known, Rock Lee not only has chakra, but his main moves, that being the gates, are all about unlocking and using more
Yeah, I
chakra. Then there's the people who say Might Guy can't use ninjutsu, which just isn't true. We see him using the summoning jutsu at least on 2 occasions. A lot of people also think that Itachi at the age of 7 was as smart as a Hokage due to Hiruzen's statement. What Hiruzen is actually saying here is that Itachi thinks like a Hokage, and the
yeah,
fact that he puts the village first.
there's a difference between thinking like someone and actually being as smart as they are. Like there is a difference between that.
I think another one of the big misconceptions for Madara is the fact that Kishimoto made him too strong and he just had to introduce Kaguya, who is stronger than him. This one just doesn't make any sense internally. Why would Kishimoto introduce a stronger villain because he couldn't figure out how to get rid of the last one because he was too strong? They were obviously going to get rid of Madara by using the seals on their hand that Hagoromo gave them. This one is likely to require an entire video to explain in depth, but Naruto is not about hard work beats talent. And Rock Lee is not a better representation of Naruto's themes than Naruto himself is. With that
Oh
misconception, you
boy.
have
Oh, there's that whole debate. Look, I'm not gonna get into this here because I mean I do kind of agree with him. I feel like that deserves its own video. I don't know if I'll do it, but yeah, it's that's a whole thing. I mean, um, yeah, again, I don't want to get into it here, but let's just go ahead and continue.
have also the misconception people think that Neji was right and Naruto was special the entire time and etc etc. This is just an attempt to completely undermine the narrative of Naruto. Neji wasn't right because if Neji was right, Naruto would have fought Sasuke and killed him to continue the cycle of hatred. Naruto was able to break the cycle of hatred, showing that Neji was wrong and you are not tied to your destiny. The next misconception I
Well, I mean, see, it's interesting because in a way, I think okay, I think both sides have a good point because on one hand, um, Naruto does follow along his destiny because again, there was the whole like prophecy of him being like the child of prophecy, which turned out to be correct. You know, the whole like there will be a child who calls the name of all the tail beasts, which Naruto did, and then be able to summon Hagoromo from the from the afterlife, and then that whole thing happens. So in a way, Neji was proven right that people are kind of tied to their destinies, but in a way, Naruto was able to also break away from it. So it's sorry, excuse me, guys, just had to had to clear my throat for a second. What was I saying? In a way, he is kind of right, but again, it's interesting because again, I think both sides are kind of correct because again, like Naruto does play into his destiny of being like the child of prophecy. That does happen. So it's kind of weird. Like in a way, Neji gets proven right, but in a way, he also gets proven wrong by Naruto. You know, like well, actually, no. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know if I agree that Naruto's destiny was to kill Sasuke and end the cycle of hatred. No, Naruto's destiny was to no, because here's the thing: killing Sasuke would not have ended the cycle of hatred. It would have just continued it. Like if Sasuke died, then Injo would have been reincarnated again, and then Naruto, when he died, Ashura would have been reincarnated, and then the whole thing would have continued. But by Naruto, actually no, Naruto choosing not to kill him actually fulfilled the prophecy of him ending the cycle of hatred. Like Naruto killing Sasuke would not have ended it, it would have continued it. In fact, Naruto choosing not to do that, that's what ended the cycle of hatred because Naruto didn't do what the other reincarnates probably did, other than, Madara and Hashirama, where one brother ended up killing the other. So in a way, Naruto did actually, follow the prophecy of ending the cycle of hatred by not killing Sasuke, by breaking away from it, by saying, "No, I'm not gonna follow this whole thing. I'm gonna do it completely different. I'm gonna do it my way." And he did. So, and actually, he did fulfill the prophecy.
I have up here comes from Donzo, and it's the fact that the fourth Mizukage Yagura was a perfect Jinchuriki. All Donzo says about Yagura is the fact that he has control over his Biju, which does not inherently make him a perfect Jinchuriki. Perfect Jinchuriki are synchronized with their partners and work together. One person does not have control over the other. This same
Well,
sentiment can
I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, I understand that it doesn't inherently mean that they are, you know, in sync with their tailed beasts, but at the same time, considering when Naruto was in that whole like, you know, that was in that mind space where he saw the other tailed beasts in their Jinchuriki. I mean, it seemed like they got along pretty well, so maybe they were in sync. And if that's the case, then yeah, Yagura would have been a perfect Jinchuriki. I mean, see, he even says right here, he puts him on the same level as B, and Madara and Hashirama being there because Madara had the power to keep all of them in check, and then Hashirama, and I said Madara, I don't know why, but Hashirama, of course, had the power to keep him in check, and Madara because of his dojutsu, his Sharingan, which gives him control over tail beasts, and of course you have and Killer B because he actually is a perfect Jinchuriki. So I think yeah, maybe he did mean that Kishimoto did mean that Yagura was a perfect Jinchuriki, even though again I see where he's coming from, that it doesn't inherently mean that he was a perfect Jinchuriki just because he had control over his tailed beast. Even though I personally I see it as that.
be extended to Yugito, who we don't know if she has a relationship with her Biju, just that she can transform into it. Also, this one should be fairly obvious given the later events of the war arc and things that Kabuto said, but Hiruzen did not stop the third coffin from rising whenever Orochimaru was fighting him. Orochimaru couldn't summon the third coffin because that was Minato, and Minato was trapped inside of the Reaper Death Seal. Itachi is not stronger than Hashirama based on this statement that Hashirama says.
Wait, what the hell did it say right there? Oh, he's just promoting the Discord. Okay.
Based on this statement that Hashirama says, Hashirama has absolutely never met Itachi, so contextually, him saying Itachi was an even better shinobi than him was probably just talking about the things he was willing to do for the Leaf and his selflessness. Again, this should be fairly obvious, but you have those people out there, you know what I mean. Similarly, Kishimoto never said in an interview that he never had Itachi meet Madara because if he did, the war would be over in 30 minutes. That does not exist anywhere on the internet. You can never find any legitimate source for that. It is nothing but a made up fan rumor. Itachi would probably lose to Madara if they ever came to fight. The next misconception is the fact that people think shinobi can use 100% of their chakra. This couldn't be further from the truth, as it would make the 8 gates completely pointless. All the 8 gates do is remove the limiters on your output and allow chakra to flow completely freely throughout your body with no limiters. Derivatives from this argument would include people thinking that just because you get more chakra would mean you get stronger, when that's not inherently the case.
No.
There are transformations like getting KCM or gaining a Ninetales cloak that would raise your output and make you stronger, but simply gaining more chakra is not just going to make you stronger. Similarly, shadow clones do not always split your chakra evenly. You can choose to pour more or less chakra into a clone, and this is even true with the derivatives of the shadow clone jutsu like wood clones. If shadow clones always split your chakra in half, then Naruto would literally only be able to make one clone, whereas we know that that is not true. The number of tails on a tailed beast does not matter to its power until you get to Kurama and Gyuki. They are the strongest 2 Biju, but numbers 1 through 1 clone, whereas we know that that is not true. Wood clones. If shadow clones always split your chakra in half, then Naruto would literally only be able to make one clone.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think I see what he's saying. Like, yeah, okay, shadow clones split your chakra in half. Well, actually, okay, no. The thing is that the chakra is split evenly among all the clones. So if you made one clone, then that clone contains half of your strength, and then you contain the other half, you, the original body. But if you made 10 clones, then you would have 1/10 of your strength, and the others would have the other. You see what I mean? Just like if you made 100, each would contain 1/100th of your full power. Like the whole thing about the shadow clone is that it splits your chakra evenly among the others. That's why Naruto, when he makes, like let's say 1,000 clones, they get taken out so easily because each of them only have 1/1000th of Naruto's original strength. And that's why the whole thing is dangerous, because once that clone is dissipated, then that chakra is gone, and it'll take you a while to, or actually no, well actually no, I think what they said is that the knowledge is taken back to the original body, but I think the chakra is still used up. You still used up that chakra. You see what I mean? So that's why it was stated that the shadow clone is like a forbidden jutsu, because it's dangerous, and not anyone can just perform that ability.
Whereas we know that that is not true. The number of tails on a tailed beast does not matter to its power until you get to Kurama and Gyuki. They are the strongest two Biju, but numbers 1 through 7 can all be ranked differently. Edo Tensei Shinobi are weaker than their alive counterparts, but the nerf is not by that much, seeing as Tobirama, who invented the jutsu, says that due to Orochimaru's upping the precision of the jutsu, they are stronger than they were before and now close to their original power. Kabuto has an even better or similar level Edo Tensei to Orochimaru, so the Edos in the war arc should not be nerfed from their original counterparts, at least not by much. This, however, is not true in the case of every single Edo Tensei. You have people like Itachi, who loses his sickness, so he's not as nerfed as he should be, and perhaps even stronger. You have people like Minato, who was revived with half of the 9 tails, so he is obviously stronger. And then you have people like Hiruzen, who was revived without his old man and stamina nerfs, so he is probably stronger, or maybe just displaying more of his full power than we got to see back in part 1 versus Orochimaru.
Yeah, see, the thing is that when it comes to people like Itachi and Minato, the thing is that yeah, I mean, yeah, he did bring it up. Like, obviously, Minato as a reanimation had, one half of Kurama, which he didn't have when he was alive. So obviously, that version is a lot stronger. But technically, like, if Minato, okay, let's say the Reaper Death Seal doesn't require the user to sacrifice their life, right? Let's say it doesn't require that to happen, okay? And let's say Minato sealed one half of the 9 tails in himself, and then sealed the other half in Naruto, as what happened in the original story. Then Minato from that point onward would have had access to half of the 9 tails chakra, which would have mean he was a lot stronger. And then when he dies through whatever means, let's say he gets killed or he dies of old age, and then when he gets brought back by reincarnation, he would technically not be as strong, because as what the jutsu says is that they are brought back, but not as strong as they were when they were alive. In the case of Hiruzen and Itachi, technically all we saw was them close to the original power that they had when they were alive. They just couldn't access it because of Hiruzen, or in the case of Hiruzen, it was because he was a lot older. Obviously, he wasn't in his prime anymore, and he wasn't able to perform in battle as well as he used to, obviously, again, when he was in his prime. In Itachi's case, it was because he was really sick. He was always that strong. He was just not able to fight at full power, or in the case of his fight with Sasuke, he didn't want to, because he would have killed him, as what Obito stated, and he couldn't access his power. So what we saw him do in the Fourth Great Shinobi War was what he could always do. It's just that he didn't have a sick body holding him back. That's just what ended up happening.
People never stopped using hand signs. This isn't true even in Boruto. As far as I can remember, throughout the entire manga, everyone continues to use hand signs over and over. Even up to the Jubi Jinchuriki era of the story, Madara is still using hand signs. Sasuke still uses hand signs. Naruto at points still uses hand signs, especially for the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Ninja never stopped using hand signs. Minato has more sealing jutsu than just the Reaper Death Seal, and with that, he did not use the Reaper Death Seal to seal the other half of the 9 tails into Naruto. He used an 8-sign seal. Jiraiya does not have the fastest attack in Sage Mode overall. When Jiraiya says that Kabari Senbon is his fastest jutsu in Sage Mode, he is talking about himself. He has no idea that Naruto will get Sage Mode in the future. He's never seen Hashirama use Sage Mode, and similarly with Kabuto, so there is absolutely no way he can make a claim on that statement. Even the statement in Data Book 3 only covers up to volume 43 of the original manga, in which none of the characters I just mentioned have Sage Mode or there is any hint that they will get it. Tsunade and Sakura have never summoned 100% of Lady Katsuyu. The amount of Katsuyu that Tsunade summons is less than 1/20th normally. When she uses her 100 healing, she can summon about a 20th of it. And then when
Yeah, see, I mean, she even says right here with two of them, and it's kind of hinted that Sakura's using um more of the 100 healings, sign, or more of the 100 healings power, because she even says it herself. She's not allocating some of that chakra to keeping up a youthful appearance like what Tsunade's doing. And she, even with that, she says, we can likely summon 1/10 of Katsuyu's actual body here from Shikotsu Woods. So that means that even with the insane power that they both have, which keep in mind, as a reminder, this Sakura with her 100 healings, with her Byakugo seal, she had more chakra than 1/3 of Naruto's Six Path Sage Mode clone. Keep in mind, this is a Naruto who has the chakra of all tailed beasts, and which includes one half of Kurama and one half of Hagoromo's chakra, which was contained in the Yang seal that he gave him. And yet, despite that, 1/3 of his power was still not more than the amount of power that Sakura, or the amount of chakra that Sakura could give Obito in order to open the portals to, Kaguya's dimensions, which is crazy. And yet, even with that power amp, they still could possibly only summon 1/10 of Katsuyu's body. So you have to ask yourself, like, how much chakra is necessary to summon all of Katsuyu from Shikotsu Woods? Like, that's actually kind of crazy when you think about it.
And Sakura both combine their 100 healings jutsu, they can summon 1/10 of Katsuyu. So Katsuyu is actually a lot bigger and a lot stronger than you would ever imagine, because you only ever see 1/10 of her power and size. Similarly, Katsuyu,
And look how big it is. I mean, it's almost as big as one of the trunks of the divine tree. I mean, that is crazy. Like, seriously, like, how big is Katsuyu's actual body if this is only 1/10 of the actual of the actual real thing? I mean, my God.
Katsuyu's healing powers get boosted to a massive degree whenever Sakura and Tsunade do this, to the point where you can be healed just by simply standing on Katsuyu. The third Raikage is not stronger than the fourth Raikage, although in the end he may be more durable. We know that the third Raikage alone was unable to take down the Eight Tails without a Jinchuriki on his own. They fought all day to a stalemate until both of them collapsed from exhaustion. The fourth Raikage was not only able to take off a horn from Yuki without a Jinchuriki, but he is stated to be stronger than B in the fourth data book, even while B is a perfect Jinchuriki, which should make the Eight Tails even stronger. So while the third Raikage may have an impenetrable shield, he should be both slower and weaker than the fourth Raikage, who all in all may be more durable in the end. The creation of all things jutsu does not allow Hagoromo to just do absolutely anything. He obviously has his limits just like everyone else, which is why he can't just solo the war and fix things the way he wants to, yet leaves it up to Naruto and Sasuke. There is a very recent statement going around that Kishimoto said no ninja in the Naruto verse can stand up to guns. I want to point out that this is from a very old art book in which Kishimoto probably changed his mind on the rest of the series.
Well, I mean, we know he changed his mind on a lot of things as he was writing the story, so who knows, yeah.
Kishimoto says also in this interview that missiles would never be allowed in the Naruto verse, when he literally gave those to a path of pain. He also has later statements like the light fang and the lightning speed, and people who are lightning speed simply are not being tagged by guns, unless he's talking about the fact that when implemented into the world, guns would become extremely powerful and then ninja wouldn't be able to deal with them. But that's an entirely separate and different statement from saying the power of a gun a ninja just can't stand up to. I'm basically just getting at the idea that this statement is either misinterpreted or Kishimoto wanted to and did change his mind in the story later on. Fugaku Uchiha is not relative to Minato. I'm not sure where it came from that Fugaku was ever a Hokage candidate, but this just simply isn't true. The only people who ever wanted Fugaku to become Hokage were the Uchiha clan, and they were the only people advocating for it. There is absolutely no statements or evidence to ever conclude that Fugaku would be anywhere near Minato in terms of power. I almost ended the video without talking about this one, but Hagoromo and Hamura never fought Kaguya in the original manga. In the original manga, Hagoromo and Hamura only fought the Ten Tails, which they didn't know Kaguya had turned into at that point. I bring this up to say that the argument that Hagoromo and Hamura fought a stronger Kaguya than Naruto and Sasuke doesn't exist. That may be true in the anime, but in the manga, it just never happened blatantly. No. I'm going to say that this is maybe a misconception and bring up how it could be and how.
Here's the thing. I mean, I think it's pretty much stated that the Kaguya that fought Naruto and Sasuke are actually stronger, or is actually stronger, excuse me, because she not only used the what was it? I think she used the power of the divine tree along with the power that's in the nine-tailed beast, excluding one half of Kurama, and then of course you have all the chakra that the divine tree gathered throughout the years, and then I think I think that was it, because she started gathering more chakra from her other dimensions when she was creating that Gudodama that was supposed to the Truth Seeker orb that was supposed to like destroy that dimension and create a completely new one, if I remember correctly. That's when that happened. But when she fought Naruto and Sasuke, she just obviously used Madara's body, and then obviously had Madara's body absorb all that chakra from all the Zetsu that were created because of the divine tree, which apparently was so much that even Madara's body couldn't handle it. And yeah, so that version of Kaguya was actually stronger than the Kaguya that fought against Hagoromo and Hamura.
How it could also not be. When Nagato is using the Rene Rebirth, Konan says that if he uses it at his current chakra level, he won't survive. This at the very least implies that Konan is saying if he were to use it at a higher chakra level, perhaps Nagato could survive the jutsu. However, when Obito has the Rinnegan, he says that Madara would need to sacrifice him in order to perform the Rene Rebirth on him, when he, at least to our knowledge, is not low on chakra at all. Now, this either means that Konan was wrong and Nagato would die anyway, or since Uzumaki have such strong life force, one of them could survive using the Rene Rebirth, and Obito, who just doesn't have as much chakra as Nagato, could never do that same thing. The only reasons Obito was able to survive after using Rene Rebirth and after getting the 10 tails ripped out of him is that Black Zetsu was attached to him for the beginning portion, and then after that Naruto revived him using his creation of all things. Last but not least, we have the fact that Biju are completely made of chakra. And yes, I mean completely. People will often bring up that Biju can bleed or that they have muscles and whatnot to say that Biju aren't made of chakra. This is simply explained by the fact that their muscles and all of their inner organs are just made out of chakra. That's how Kenkaku and Genkaku were.
Okay, sorry. I got a message, so I was a little distracted. But I do want to talk about this for a second. So the whole thing about Rene Rebirth and Nagato being able to survive if he had if he had more chakra at this moment than what he had when he was about to perform the jutsu. Here's the thing. I think that okay, there's a couple of explanations that I can think of that to explain this. One is that and I think this is probably the most likely one, is that Kishimoto just retconned it. Originally he had it planned to where it's an ability that used up a lot of chakra, but if you do it, you can either bring back the dead, either one person or multiple. In the case of Nagato, when he brought back everyone who died because of his assault on the Leaf Village. But then I'm guessing either maybe his editor or maybe Kishimoto himself realized that, oh wait, this is kind of a broken ability if you think about it. And considering that he planned on having I'm guessing he probably planned on having Obito gain the Rinnegan later. Then people would probably ask, well, okay, why doesn't he just use Rinne Rebirth to bring back Madara? And, why doesn't he, or yeah, why doesn't he just do that? So he changed it to where, or he retconned it to where it's a sacrificial move. Like it's a move you can only do if you plan on, exchanging your life for the person that you're going to bring back. Kind of like what happened with excuse me, kind of like what happened with Chio when she brought back Gara. Like she can bring him back, but only in exchange for her own life. So it's a life for life move. Same thing with the Rinne Rebirth. I'm guessing that's probably what happened. Kishimoto just retconned it later, or maybe Conan was lied to about this ability and was told that, hey, if you use this ability, or if Nagato uses this ability, because of his insane chakra reserves, it won't kill him. But to anyone else, it would use up all their chakra and it would kill them. But because Nagato, being a member of the Uzumaki clan, has a larger than average chakra reserve and a really strong life force, would be able to survive it. Maybe she was lied to when she was told this. Or again, I'm willing to bet it was probably just retconned. So anyway, let's continue. But yeah, the next one is them being made completely out of chakra. Yeah, that is true. They are made completely out of chakra.
People will often bring up that Biju can bleed or that they have muscles and whatnot to say that Biju aren't made of chakra. This is simply explained by the fact that their muscles and all of their inner organs are just made out of chakra. That's how Kenkaku and Genkaku were able to gain Nine Tails chakra from eating its insides. The Raikage even describes it as chakra meat. But yeah, that's all the misconceptions in Naruto that I can think of and all the relevant ones to bring up. If you have any more, leave them down in the comments. Maybe I can respond to the comment if it's not too big and clear the misconception up for you if you want my opinion on it. But if you like the video, obviously leave a like on it, subscribe to the
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, that's the video, guys. And yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it up because again, I don't want this video to go on for too long. But yeah, I mean, look, obviously, look, with any series there are going to be misconceptions. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. Now, whether it's because people either misremember what they read or what they watched, or maybe they thought something different as the story was moving forward, and maybe they just don't like the original intention behind what the author was doing. Whatever it is, it's going to lead to misconceptions, or maybe they heard it from someone else who they themselves had or misinterpreted what was actually being said. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are there other misconceptions that wasn't covered here in this video that you think should be known about? Let me know about it in the comment section down below. And which of this list did you agree with or disagree with? Let me know again in the comment section down below. And while you're here, again, guys, consider leaving a like, share this video out there. Please subscribe if you're new to help support the channel. And if you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member by clicking on the blue join button that is right next to the subscribe button. You'll be able to become a member and you'll gain access to perks that aren't available to anyone else. And please consider clicking on the like button or not the like button, excuse me, but the notification bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And with all that said and out of the way, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Bye for now.